Okay, can you guys hear me? Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Busy at work. Be patient. Okay. Can you guys hear me at all? All right, cool. All right. Well, I can hear myself. So, okay, cool, cool. Ask Spence why he's been so quiet. No. Spence is coming on. Let me message him now. Hold on a second. Yeah, brother, we're loud and fully functional, operational right now. So jump on the link and we're right here. Okay, so I just got off the phone with him. So we are loud and clear. Loud and clear. Hope you're feeling much better. I am, man. I'm feeling a lot better, bro. A lot better. Just, crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's. Okay. The live streams got juju. Yeah, bro, it did, man. I wanted to do it from my phone. And he said, oh, here we go. Here's the knowledge. Knowledge is in the building. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Finally, after
How you doing? How you doing, Kurt?
Man, I'm good. I'm a lot better, bro. Thanks for asking, man. How you been doing?
I'm all right, man. Let me just turn this volume on this thing, yeah? I'm all right, my friend.
That's good, man. That's really good to hear, man. We've been waiting for you. I first tried to log in.
Kurt, no disrespect, bro. I'd rather you do it when you're not driving, yeah? Come back to me when you're...
I'm about to pull over right here.
Nah, but you're still driving in your car. I don't want to talk to you while you're in your car, bro. I'm just keeping it 100.
No, I'm about to pull over right here. I was actually pulling in anyway. All right. So we got some questions for you already, Big Spence.
Okay.
Said the live stream must got some juju on it. Okay, ask Spencer Fearon about Dubois. I'll put it on the screen for you. How about that? So we can see it.
Uh-huh. What, have they paid to ask you that question?
I know, right?
I'm asking you a question. Have they paid you to ask you that question?
Who?
This person, Mohammed, has he paid to ask you that question?
No, that was just a question on the chat.
Okay, then. So I refuse to answer that question. I said what I said. I stand by it. Hold up a second. I even sent you the writ. Was there any mention of any black magic in the writ?
No, it wasn't.
Okay, then. What was in the writ? The writ was saying that because I called a particular person a scumbag, right? If you look up to... Listen, if you look up to the Oxford English Dictionary, a scumbag is someone who's unpleasant, unkind, and dishonest. So my dealings in that situation, right, with that father is all three of those things, right? And I stand on that. But yet, when I got the writ last week, it didn't touch on any of those kind of things. It didn't touch on the fact that I spoke about the dark arts. None of that wasn't touched on. You saw, I sent you the writ, you saw it.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm actually looking at it.
Thought, now, me personally, I thought that was the most damning thing. Do you know what I mean? But it's not a fact of like it's squashed. I'm just saying I was disturbed over certain things or certain lies that were going on, and I'll address it. And I don't care if the whole world don't believe me. I know what went on. Do you know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
Or I know
Yeah.
on the handle of things. So that's it. I'm not upset. I'm not like, oh, I was trying to, and like a lot of the nonsense about, oh, you're doing it because you're up Joshua's us. Do you know how many times me and Annie Joshua's fallen out? Because I speak my mind.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
There's quite a few. Yeah, yeah. I've heard about quite a few. So,
Okay.
so we got a first super chat of the day. Spence, who are the guys who were pissed off, or who pissed you off?
Who pissed me off? Listen, I've addressed that, so you should know who it was. I addressed that last week. Did I not address it last week? I addressed it last week. Do you know what I mean? Right, okay, I addressed it last week, and there's nothing on my talk pertaining to that situation that I'm taking back. I'm not taking it back because I mean every word, and it's not coming from an evil standpoint or all the rest of it. I'm just saying, no, I just had enough of certain things to tell you on this shoot. You know what I mean? And when I'm saying what I'm saying, now all of a sudden, you've already heard their own family members what they've come out with. But I'm not here to go into the family talk. Do you know what I mean? Because I take the family thing very serious. So I, like many people, right, thought that Andy Joshua was going to come out successful, right? But it wasn't that. It's like at the time, and I'm a very spur of the moment person, somebody said something that really rattled me. So then I just was letting off all the shots, right? So it doesn't matter what anybody else are to think about the situation, because deep down inside they know the situation. You know what I mean? And if the real situation, if everything was to really come out in its real entirety, they wouldn't want it to come out. Do you know what I mean? Because then you look and say, Ross Spencer's not the bad guy, because I'm not the bad guy. People can think whatever they want to think when it comes to me dealing with my racial identity, me being that person that will always fight out against injustice, even though no one ain't going to be backing me, or people will be backing me in private, but publicly they won't because they're cowards. I'm not a coward. You know what I mean? I'm not a coward. I'm proud of my upbringing. You know what I mean? I'm not a coward. I don't pet and powder. I don't itch where I don't need to itch. I'm not that person. I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm just not that guy. Right? So what's happened. And like I'm saying, yet again, if I've called somebody or I've accused somebody of something, I didn't accuse them of nothing else. I accused them of something, but that weren't in a rip. So don't you think that's a bit, well, that weren't in a rip, but everything else in the rip.
Yeah, I mean it's
Okay,
kind of.
And also, for the record, let's get this clear, because certain people like to jump off because they're very emotional. I've known Don Charles, I've been 12 years old. They're very emotional. Not once did I say that he wasn't going to work Daniel Dubois' corner. And you've listened to it because I watched your breakdown of it. Not once. I said he's going to be there. But I said the rift, if there is, I know I said that. Right? Now, in this business, because of who they're aligned to in the boxing business, people won't talk out about that because of their fear. I fear no one but Allah. I only fear God. I don't fear no one. You know what I mean? Right. And my gripe wasn't with the promoters, wasn't with Don Charles, wasn't with Daniel Dubois. I had no gripe with him. I wish them nothing but the best. But my gripe stands with where it was at. But since then, the dad has messaged me, and we've gone back and forth. Not in all, you know what I mean? And I think there's a little settlement there. It was like, right, okay, and I'll leave it at that. But they know what they did. They know what they did. Their lawyers around, they know what they did. You know what I mean? The people involved with them, even promoting them, know what he did. You know what I mean? So if they want to filter this lie, there's loads of people in this game that I've helped that hooked up. Loads and loads and loads. I don't want to go through a list. Loads. Do you know what I mean? But what I'm not gonna take is that form of disrespect. And it was a disrespect. And they know it was a disrespect. Do you know what I mean? And even them reflecting back now, even at the fact that they're messaging me, they know it was a disrespect. So if that's their form of apology, then I'll just leave it at that.
Well, Yeah, I thought that was actually rather contradicting because I read the riff. I read it and it was specifically stated don't contact them, but then they're
Okay, then.
contacting you.
I rest my case. Do you know what I
Because
mean?
I'm reading it right here. I don't have to read it to read it. I don't have to read it out loud to read it. So then it clearly says, yeah, this is okay, yeah,
Right.
and it comes off. The riff comes off. The disclosure comes off that hey, you're harassing or you're harassing me in my party. But if
Not
they're
once, not
contacting
once,
you,
not and it's not once have I done that.
right,
You know what I mean? Not once. But the truth, what I'm trying to say to you, the truth is coming out slowly, so it's okay.
right. So is it fair to say you could basically because use what you have as evidence to say, well, hey, you're harassing me now.
No,
If you
no,
were
you
that
know
kind of
what?
person,
No, listen to me. Listen to me.
I'm just asking. I'm just
No,
asking
no,
for
no.
the
I'm just saying
record.
that's tit for tat nonsense, right? I'm just
Right,
gonna say to you, it's like I'm an emotional human being, and it just came out at the time when it came out because deep down inside, I don't give a flying f, and that's that.
right.
You know what I mean? And that's that,
Yeah.
Kurt.
Well, I know what you don't give a flying f about, but I can tell you this: it seems like you, sir, have started you started something because now Chris Eubank Jr. has used the same term, scumbag.
Which he retracted because the powers that be, Turkey Al Sheikh, they said, listen,
Yeah.
we'll take the ruler out, slap your knuckles. Let's just call it peaceful. I don't need this right now. Right? But I know Chris Eubank is a very intelligent human being. And that scumbag terminology is what he felt was the correct terminology at the time. Right? Because he said, right, I'm going to fire shots. But then subsequently, he's retracted his statement and it's all left. Right? It's all left now. But you
Right.
could see, you got to remember, it's like the thing with power, yeah, you got to know when to pass it on. Right? If you're in a
Right.
position of power, you got to know when to pass it on. Right? And
Right.
unfortunately, um, you got to understand how it is. It's like you got young guns who are coming up. I'm an old guy now. You got young guns who are coming up who don't give a flying F. And that's what we're seeing right now. That's what we're seeing. Now, if I was a person that kind of pushed it to the forefront, then so be it. You mean then so be it. But like I said, I will speak my mind on certain things, and it's kind of sad how things have gone between myself and Don Charles. I've known, like I said, I've known Don since I've been 12 years old. Don Charles was very supportive of me when mom died, right? But simple fact, because he's known me since I've been a young kid, right? But Don Charles knows him professionally. I've supported him right throughout. So it's one of them things. So like one of my friends, Ben Dow, he said, "Oh, but it must be a shame about with you and Don Charles." And I'm saying, no, it ain't. It's not. And I'm going to tell you why it's not. Because how it goes in professional boxing, if you're a trainer and you're waiting for that one gem, a lot of these trainers, they will have to eat shit to live, right?
Right.
I'm not one of those guys. I'm just not.
Well, that's definitely a good thing, Spence. What did you think about the fight overall?
Um,
Were you shocked like everybody else? Tell
no,
me your intake on it.
no, no, I wasn't. Um, when I was in the arena, I really did feel a kind of nervousness when I was in that arena. So no, I didn't. And to be honest with you, um, I like looking at corners a lot. You know what I mean? Because that's usually a telltale sign in a lot of things. And if you saw guys like Ian Drewbury, who's worked with Don Charles for many years, Don Charles himself, even though they were apprehensive, they were up for it. But on the other side, if you looked at Anthony Joshua's corner, they were the ones that looked like they didn't have the experience of that situation.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, whatever they thought they were transmuting to Anthony Joshua just didn't transmute. Do I think that Anthony Joshua could come back in this fight and beat Daniel Dubois? I really do believe that. And people say, but you just got bested. I haven't. No, I'm being real with you. I really do believe that Anthony Joshua could come back in a rematch and beat Daniel Dubois. Because Daniel Dubois didn't technically do anything that amazed me in that fight. He just stuck it on Anthony Joshua. Right?
Right.
And I'm telling you, I think a key fight that Anthony Joshua should go and watch. He should go and watch Lennox Lewis's, was it 1992, October, when he knocks out Razor Ruddock in 2 rounds. I think he should go and study that fight if he was to take a rematch. He should go and study that fight on how to flick your jab and wait to throw in the right hand instead of throwing the right hand out of desperation. And then when you're throwing it out of desperation, it doesn't come out with authority. It come out very tentative. So I think maybe if Anthony Joshua was to study that fight, I really do believe that Anthony Joshua could be successful against Daniel Dubois. And that's not me wishing anything bad on Daniel Dubois. It's just that, you know what I mean? Where my gripe was with, it was with, and it's going to stay that way. I'm just going to be real. It's going to stay that way.
But it wasn't with Don Charles. It was with
no, it wasn't with Don. It wasn't with Don Charles. But I'm telling you now, 2 weeks after the Usyk fight, the father called me. I go to the house, and he wanted to get rid of Don Charles.
Right.
And I was like, you can't do that. I said, it's going to take 4 fights before you see the best Daniel Dubois. The dad listens to me because he respects my boxing knowledge. This is factual, right? Just like when he was looking for a trainer, the dad came to me and asked me for loads of numbers. I said, I don't have them. I said, why don't you go to somebody that I think that you're someone of a truer affinity with? And that person was Don Charles. And at the same time, apparently, Shane McGuigan said, why don't you go to Don Charles? So props to Shane McGuigan, right? He's former coach, apparently.
Right.
But you've seen Don come on my show and say, Spencer, you was the one that initiated it. So I got no more to say. I'll only say, I initiated that. Right?
I mean,
so
you were just,
it is what it was.
Just stating the facts. Well, what are you supposed to do? Shane McGuigan himself said that he recommended his father, Daniel Dubois, to Don Charles.
All right. But I didn't hear Don Charles come out at the time when they got the fight with. I didn't hear Don Charles at the time come out and say that it was Shane McGuigan that initiated anything, right? But he came on the Fighters Right with myself and told me, he said, Spencer, you were the one that initiated it. You know what I mean? You instigated, not initiated. You instigated it, was his words. Okay. All right. I rest my case, man. So anyone else want to say, but I said this and I did. No, brother, that was me. You know what I mean? So to anything, you should humble yourself. You should humble yourself when you're dealing with me. And that's not me going around and saying, but I should get this and I should get that. And blah. No, it's none of those kind of things. Recognize what I did. You know what I mean? Just like I recognized when my mom died, and it was a horrible time for me at that time. Right? I had suicidal thoughts and everything. And it was Don that said, nah, you know what? We got a Tyson Fury fight for Derek. Come and work in the camp with us. And it wasn't Derek Chisora that paid me. It was Don Charles that paid me. So it is what it is.
Well, first of all, man, my condolences go out to your mom, man. That's a hard
man,
blow.
It's been 2.5 years now. I'm coping all right now.
Well, I mean, it's been 13 for me, so it still comes and goes. So,
bro,
it always stays with you.
Yeah, I know that, but what it is this is like on these kind of things. It's like I lost my dad 19 years ago. I lost my mom 2 years ago. So when I'm sitting there saying, "Well, I have no parents," it's a serious thing, and sometimes we do things to mask our pain, right? But when
Right.
I'm trying to say like I've allowed certain people for so long, I'm like, nah, I'm gonna start firing shots. And usually you said, but that's just so unlike you, Spencer, because you're firing shots as another black person, and you know you're meant to be this big racist. No, I'm firing shots at, and if I feel aggrieved and I feel unjust by something, then I'll fire shots. But one of my really good friends, Marlos, said, Spencer, just let it go. Come on, look at all the things that are happening to you right now. Just let it go. I said, it's not a case of that, of letting it go. I'm like, I have to speak my mind. I spoke my mind.
No, man. Well, you rattled some cages. Definitely, you did that. But a lot of people, heard what you said, and obviously, it made it made a splash. You know, definitely.
Yeah, of the time, I know I was trending like no one's business, but it is what it is.
I mean, you ever
I
heard
didn't,
of freedom
I
of
did,
speech? You ever heard
I
of
didn't,
freedom of speech?
yeah,
You know what I mean?
I didn't, I didn't do it to trend. You know what I mean? It
Uh,
wasn't a planned thing. It was just like,
but it did.
to hell with
Yeah.
this. There's certain times where you just
Yeah.
get to hell with this kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will
Yeah,
never hurt me. Whatever
they
happened to
say
that?
that, but they say that, but that's untrue because words do hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Obviously so.
Yeah.
Obviously so. You got a super chat here. It's ask Spencer, does he think it's fair for Joshua to have a therapeutic use exemption for testosterone? I never heard of that. You ever heard of that,
Uh,
Spence?
and you know what? How much did they pay? $2?
5.
$5. That's not a $5 question, bro.
I know, right? It's crazy. It's crazy.
But
Because
what I can
you
say,
hear stuff like
no,
that.
no, for me to answer this brother, um, I know that Anthony Joshua is a clean athlete, right? He's clean. He's a wholesome
Right.
human being. So I think it's right. If he's, I think it's right.
It's crazy. Yeah, Ed Ellerby. Yeah, he's like, wait, you prepared Chisora? Yeah.
Um, no, I worked with Derek Chisora. What I was doing was um, fight analysis with him. So I'd sit down and we'd sit down and watch loads of fights together and certain things. Just get me that certain mind. Yeah, I mean, I props on Charles for that. It was a nice time in the camp. It weren't the result they wanted, but to be realistic, nobody really thought that he was going to beat Tyson Fury. But I think he was prepared for his best shot, and it was what it was.
Yeah, man. That was a hard fight for Chisora, man. That was a hard fight. But I mean, that's a hard man, and Chisora, he's respected. He should be because of that reason. You know.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I got a question for you, Spence. Do you think AJ should stay with Ben Davison or go somewhere else? Go back over here to Derek James, or what do you think he should do from here?
Mm, I believe that
Uh-huh.
Anthony Joshua should do what is best for Anthony Joshua. Um,
Yeah.
and I'm saying, I remember ages ago saying, it's weird that prior to the fight, Don Charles was saying this is a spiritual fight. I remember when Anthony Joshua teamed up with Ben Davison, I said that Ben Davison will not be able to handle Anthony Joshua on the spiritual aspects. I don't want to get too deep into spirituality, but he got very good win over. He got a very good win over Wallin, and he got a very good win over Ngannou. So
Right.
people were singing Ben Davison's praises, right? But Ben Davison is an offensive teacher, right? even though working with Tyson Fury, but he's not a defensive teacher because the defense that Tyson Fury had, he knew that way before he ever met Ben Davison, right? And this thing is in
Right.
waves. Boxing is in waves. It's not me trying to shit on Ben Davison right now, but I'm saying, come that fight night and him looking across the corner, right? They didn't ooze the confidence that I would expect them to ooze. And that's the truth. They didn't. And energy is infectious and it goes where it flows. And I know, like, if I'm going into a fight like that, knowing what kind of aggressive brute gorilla that I'm going in Daniel Dubois, I want some bad man around me to G me up. That's what I want.
So the jab, and roll the dice. Do you think that was the proper
All I want to know is this: what kind of roll of dice foolishness is? You're not playing craps.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say to you? And that's not. And listen, and that's not me. Listen, that's I'm saying like, right? I don't get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Listen, one big
Yeah.
dogs. Let me tell you this now, yeah. Let me tell you this. I see the question that's come up, yeah. Where he's saying, do I think that Don Charles doesn't get the credit he deserves? Don Charles is the best trainer in the UK, right? Now, all of a sudden, Don Charles is a great trainer. I'm not saying he's a good trainer. All of a sudden, Don Charles is a great trainer. Now, I can go back from the times when I was at Sky Sports and Don Charles, they had a poll and said Don Charles was the worst trainer in the country, right? It was me that was backing him, right? And a lot of people do listen to my shit. Hence why I'm talking to you. You're all the way out in America.
Right.
So I think Don Charles is a trainer of the year because you got to think about it. When the dad wanted to get rid of Don Charles, I was saying to the dad, it's going to take 4 fights before we see the best Daniel Dubois. We're not going to see a better Daniel Dubois than the one that we saw last week Saturday. 4 fights.
Right.
Usyk, Big Baby Miller, Hrgovic, and number 4 was what? Anthony Joshua.
Right.
Okay. So surely, and this is not coming from any bitterness because I've let it go. Surely, Don Charles should kiss my feet. Surely you should kiss my feet. You know what I mean? Because this is the thing with me, I'm open to debate, you know? I'm open to debate. Right? And he's got to know that I ain't got no qualms with him at all. But you know how it goes. If you're crew and I'm firing shots, if I'm hitting your main guy, I'm hitting your main guy. You know what I mean? That's how it goes, bro.
Well, to me, it seems like you've definitely been in situations where you used it to big him up. You used it to encourage his name, to raise his name when his name wasn't very popular. That's what I
Okay.
mean. This is 2 separate situations. You know, one at a person's house, okay, and then the other at a poll where it was basically the question was out if Don Charles is the worst. Now he's the best.
So listen, I don't listen to those kind of things. So let me tell you this. God forbid, let Daniel Dubois lose his next fight. Then Don Charles is shit and Anthony Joshua's just over the hill. Let me tell you that. I know how this game is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know
It's
how this
funny
game
you
is.
say that, Spence. I was listening to, he was on Talk Sports where he had some words at Gareth Davies, right? And he was saying like, hey, well, what happens when you get beat? You get sacked. When you lose, when your fighter loses, you get sacked.
Mm-hmm.
And he was really emotional about that, and it rather hit me. And it was like, you know what? And I'm going to ask you this because this is what I think. All right, I want you to know. I want you to answer if you want. Do you think if Daniel Dubois would have lost this fight against Anthony Joshua, do you think he would still be around?
No. I've said it. I said it on the show with me and Tundi. I don't think that would be the case. But you know what?
Right.
Alhamdulillah, he didn't lose. But he would have.
Yeah. Because he was telling me like the things that he had to do and the people that were, you know, that he was responsible for. you know, and I think he took it a rather emotional, but I think the emotion was coming from the idea or the possibility that he could have lost that fight. And if he would have lost that fight, he knew he would have been out of the job.
Yeah, and the thing about it is I wasn't wishing for him to lose. I wouldn't want him to lose.
Well, he won because his fighter won by default. I don't think that trainers should be thrown under the bus like that, but definitely back to Ben Davison, you know, roll the dice, you know, in a point like that right uppercut that reminded me so much of Buster Douglas and Holyfield. You remember Holyfield, Buster Douglas? It reminded me of that. It just wasn't as
Yeah.
solid because these are
No,
bigger guys.
the difference was in that fight in 1990. It was a pull counter right hand from Evander Holyfield that knocked out Buster Douglas, and really and truly, a lot of people were very skeptical, thinking that Buster Douglas could have got up if he really wanted to. Remember, Buster Douglas came in fat, out of shape, after scoring that tremendous victory against Mike Tyson. But Buster Douglas got $24.5 million for that fight. So it is what it is.
Yeah. So, do you think that the rematch will happen right away, or do you think that AJ should get a tune-up fight, or
Tune-up for what?
What about?
Why should Anthony Joshua have a tune-up? Why?
Question. Just a question.
No. I believe that Anthony Joshua should take an immediate rematch. Right?
Right.
Because Daniel Dubois is only going to get better.
You think Daniel's going to get better?
I believe so. I think he should take an immediate rematch because he knows the line of fire and he knows the mistakes that he made. And it's quite easy to correct those mistakes. It's not hard. Right? And I do believe that Anthony Joshua got the beating of Daniel Dubois if they had a rematch and he made those changes and was around the right guys who could raise him up. That's what he needs, to be around the right guys who could raise him up.
Okay. What do you think if that fight doesn't happen? Okay. Do you think that Filip Hrgovic should get a rematch, or should he wait for the winner out of Usyk versus Fury?
Yeah, I think now with the newfound confidence that Daniel Dubois has got, it really hurt Hrgovic. I think it really hurt him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you think those cuts were made by all in punches, or just were some of those cuts were by?
No. You got punched up, mate. You know what I mean, after starting off so strongly and everything else, he got punched up because he thought Daniel wouldn't be there, and Daniel was still there. So yeah. Right. I mean, let's be real. Yeah, that's what I believe was going to happen. But so if I was Anthony Joshua, I'd take a straight rematch. I would take a straight rematch.
Yeah, I agree. I think AJ will beat him in the rematch. Just simply, they have to redefine. I don't know who he should go with, but I think, well, if you keep bouncing around, you're gonna lose the trainer fighter bond. You know what I mean? I think that's counterproductive as of right now. What do you think, Spence? You think he should go back to Derek? I don't, because I haven't heard Derek say anything, and he really officially didn't leave Derek. It was just a location thing.
Listen to me, yeah. It's not only a location. It wasn't only a location thing. It's a comfortability thing, right?
Right.
It's a comfortability thing. I think that played a lot into it. But I would prefer if Anthony Joshua was away in camp in America or somewhere else and then coming back. I don't think you guys in the US realize just how big a megastar Anthony Joshua is. It is ridiculous how big he is, right? And
Right.
I keep on saying he's a beautiful human being. I only want the best for. That is it. I only want to see the best for that young man.
So Derek James, you don't think is a good fit?
No,
You
I
think
think.
he should
Listen,
stay over there?
I think. Let me tell you this. Yeah, technically, that's the worst Anthony Joshua I've ever seen. Right? Technically, that's the worst Anthony Joshua I've seen. When he was with Derek James, he's fighting from a tight guard, hands were up high, he'd ride shots, even though he's in with a different kind of entity in the two fights that he had, the one with Hellenius and the one with Franklin. They're two different guys compared to Daniel Dubois, but I would have preferred if he had his hands up. You know what I mean? And he
But
didn't.
that was the worst you ever seen him when he was with Derek James.
No. The worst I saw him the night that he lost to Daniel Dubois.
Gotcha.
That is the worst that I've seen him.
I mean, he did take a lot of shots from Hellenius, though, man, even though he had the tight guard up, though. Even though that was a replacement fighter, he did have some scrapes and some bruises.
He
Some
did, but
abrasions.
I think that was more to do with adjustment, and because they changed the opponent, I think that had a lot to
Right.
do with it. But you know what? I could be wrong. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. This game is going to continue to be interesting, and
Yeah.
and you know what I mean, and we will see, my bro. And you know what? And that's
All
my
right.
lot because I got work to do right now. I got to make sure that my little girls are
I
in
got
bed
you, man.
and stuff like that. But it's always a pleasure, Kurt. And
Absolutely.
like I'm saying, going
I
alluding
got
to
one
this.
more question for you. One more
Go on then.
question.
Go on.
Beterbiev versus Bivol. Who wins? Who takes it?
It's a
Come on.
brilliant fight. It's a
Yes,
brilliant
sir.
fight. One of our really good fighters out here, contenders in the light heavyweight division, who's fought Bivol and he's out sparring now with Beterbiev in Craig Richards. Craig Spider Richards. I got to give him a big up. So
Yeah.
I was
Big
going to
up,
go and
Craig.
phone Craig to find out some gossips, like how good is he or what's he like. And I'm actually going out for that fight because I represent
Yeah.
a soccer star for OIS Sports Management, and he plays
Okay.
out in Saudi for Al Aruba, which is a really good team. So I got to say a massive big up to Brad Young. So he's a striker for them. So and he wants to go to the fight. So I'm gonna fly. I'm taking him to the fight. But big up Spencer Brown at Gold Star Promotion because he sorted out tickets for me. So I'm gonna go out and see that fight. And I, in the beginning, I was strongly favoring Beterbiev, right? But there's something
Yeah.
about Bivol's got really good IQ, and I think if he keeps it long, maybe he could keep it long for that duration and pick up enough points to win on points. But when fights come up and you usually waver and go back and forth, stick with your original idea. And my original idea was that Beterbiev is going to beat Bivol. Both of them are really nice guys as well. 'Cause I spent a lot of time with them last year. I spent a lot of time with them when we was out in Saudi. They're very, very nice men. Both of them are they're gentlemen. So we'll see what's going to happen.
Well, I'm picking. Well, a lot of people are reneging because of the knee injury, and I'm still going with Beterbiev because I think they could have fought Bivol with that injury. I just think they didn't want to chance it. That's my thought
Mm.
on it. They could have fought him. They could have fought him if they wanted to, but I think he was like, you know what? No, we're going to reschedule because we're going to do it right. We're going to do it right. So, and I think it was done right. And I think the right amount of time was made. The right amount of time was spent to heal and to prepare and to train again. So I think Beterbiev will, in fact, beat Bivol. But I've been watching Bivol, just like you say, bro, that 3-2-3, that 3-2-3-1, he keeps it long and he can fight backwards and forwards. That's some very impressive stuff. And if you watch that and you watch his performance, you see the punches that he throws, his ability to move. It's kind of hard to think, how can you punch in between that? How can you get to a person like that? You know what I mean? And then I think back to Canelo, and Canelo's a smaller guy shorter guy, coming from a smaller weight class, and was still able to crack Bivol when he could on the inside when he got to him. So that by itself, a lot of people, well, if he can outbox Canelo, he can outbox Beterbiev. No, I don't think so. I think because Canelo had success with him, I think Beterbiev will have more success with him, being an equal or stronger guy in the same weight class. That's my
count. Well, we shall see. We shall see.
Okay. Well, brother, man, get your kids to bed. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Nah, you know what? They've actually gone to bed. All right, 1 second. I just want to answer this question because you put it up on the screen. So, ask Spencer, will he stop? What did he say? Because I ain't got my glasses on, so I can't really see it properly. And I'm doing this actually from my phone.
Spencer, will he stop calling himself the Knowledge if Triple D KOs Usyk in the rematch?
Number one is this. I didn't call myself the Knowledge. Kugan Cassius of IFL, when IFL was really, really big, right? He and
right.
James Helder, who was his partner at the time, they nicknamed me the Knowledge. They put up, I never came up, they nicknamed me that because historically, you know, I'm very, very on point. And that's where the name came from. I didn't name myself the Knowledge. So I will not stop calling myself that name because that is what has been going on. And what people are so stupid to think is like we saying, there's an old saying in England, like today's news is tomorrow's chip paper, right? So I don't worry about when people say, oh, well, I mean, everybody knows what I know on this thing. In this game here, they know what I know, right? So no, I will not stop calling myself and I would love for Daniel Dubois to get that fight with Usyk and smash into bits. I would love that. I really would love that. But if he was to win or lose against Usyk, I'm not changing my nickname because that's been my nickname for over a decade now. So I'm going to stick with that.
Okay, and you got another one. It says, having knowledge doesn't mean you're always going to predict fights correctly. There are too many variables. Let's grow up. So there's a counterpunch from the counterpunch.
No, well, he's absolutely right. And big up Zwain because he always comes on the Fight Is Right and donates money. So big up that guy. He's a nice guy, man.
Well, okay, brother. Well, it was a pleasure again seeing you drop in. And we got to have the knowledge come back probably in another couple weeks. My birthday's Wednesday, so this is an early birthday present for me.
Okay,
thank you, brother.
You have a superb birthday,
knowledge.
Bro. You have a superb birthday, right?
Appreciate you, brother.
I'm not going to counter punch, but I'm going to slip. Take care. God bless.
Thank you, man. All right, man. Be good. God bless you. All right, guys. So that was the overall interview. I hope it was everything you guys thought it would be. I have to go to a doctor's appointment, so I was running late, ripping and running and all that stuff. So he did come in. You guys, thank you for being patient with me during this whole hospital and, doctor appointment thing and all this stuff going on. That's a lot to me. We will be going live all week long, right? We'll probably have a countdown as well. And I hope you guys be good, be safe, be blessed, and everyone has been Counterpunch. Peace!